making it kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drumming round in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Hold on.
So why is it so hard to let you go? To let you go. So why is it so hard to let you go? To let you go. So why is it so hard to let you go? You let you go. is it so hard to let you go?
Suck me in, smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Suck me in, smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control.
Hello and welcome everyone to the stream. Thank you guys for joining so much. My name is Xred and I'll be your commentator for tonight. We are here for the opening round of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 League. We are here for the Australian Grand Prix located in Melbourne, the Albert Park Street circuit. It's going to be a very, very intense race here this afternoon. Let's have a quick look at your track guide though here for your Albert Park Street circuit. Obviously a 16 corner track, 5.303 kilometers, 3.2 2.95 miles, 2 DRS detection zones and 2 DRS zones on the circuit are here this afternoon, which should, in theory, bring some really good racing. And also, which should bring some really good racing, is this new driver lineup that we have here for Season 3. It is a very, very stacked driver lineup. We have very much improved from last season. Obviously, this season, RaceSpec managed to get 5 PS4 Pacific tiers, which is absolutely crazy. So let's see how this goes here tonight. This will give us a little idea of everyone's pace, but let's quickly read through your driver lineup here for the opening round, or this season, I should say. So in the Mercedes, we have GeForce Crichton Plebs, GeForce Crichton, formerly known as Zach Crichton. He is obviously the PS4 Pacific Series Season 2 champion as well. So there are a few GeForces in here. I think you'll figure that out eventually. But GeForce Crichton Plebs, obviously those two, I believe, are continuing on for this season. I think they were teammates last season as well. In Ferrari, GeForce Giannis and Curving Texas. GeForce Giannis, previously known as X Revolution. So let's see how he goes. Obviously, we know he's got a lot of pace, and Curving Texas stepping up into the Scuderia seat. For Red Bull, we have GeForce Aaron and Gaming Burger, very strong lineup there, and then the two McLaren drivers of GeForce Ford and GeForce Swaggy, another really strong lineup. Eternal Schnoz and Pure Gold on the Renault, Racing Point, GeForce Crossy and GeForce Todd. Little thing as well, realize that Crossy and 40, or Ford, as it's called in here, have split ways. Normally those two are very renowned for being together as teammates, so we'll have to see how those two cope without each other. Obviously Crossy is now linked with Toddy, GeForce Todd, and then 40 with Swaggy, so very strong lineup there. Wogboy and Cell JB is your Alfa Romeo drivers. Alpha Tauri is CPL Macca Stewart, and then Izette Kush, and then in the Haas car it's Gunners 0405 and James H 1999, and rounding out your drivers standings here is the Williams team of Spilly and AU Wingman. I'm going to swap this over now to the main screen, because if I'm correct, and I think you guys might be able to hear it now, the drivers are out for their qualifying session. We'll swap it over now. A few drivers have set laps, so I do apologise for joining in a little bit late, but it's currently Eternal Schnoz who sits on provisional pole position at the moment for the Australian Grand Prix. Let me know some predictions in the live chat. If you guys are new here, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to get notified when the streams go live. But 40 now up on the pole position for McLaren on a 19.612. Nice first lap there for the McLaren driver. Let's see how he goes. Can he take the fight this season to GeForce Crichton and the other Mercedes driver of Plebs? Spilly's in P2 at the moment on a 19.627, 1/100th of a second behind GeForce Ford. Then it's Eternal Schnoz in P3, was in P3. I should say 40's teammates just gone into P3, but he's now been pushed down to P4 because Crossy is now onto provisional pole position on a 19.546. As you can see, they're setting very competitive lap times here straight off the bat. So it's currently Crossy in the Racing Point, and then 40, Spilly in position 3 for Williams, and it's the other McLaren of Swaggy, Eternal Schnoz in P5, P6, GeForce Giannis. CPL Macastu is currently sitting in P7, a 119.86x for the Alpha Tauri driver, who actually touches the wall there a little bit as well. So James H has just slotted himself up in a P8. He's split the two Alpha Tauris of Izat Kush and CPL Macastu. Izat sitting just inside the top 10 now. So LJB in P11. P12 is GeForce TP, which is Gunners, I believe, 0405, just to clarify. Wogboy in P13. P14 is Curving Texas, who's actually coming around the final corner now to finish his first lap, or is he actually starting a lap? He is starting a lap. So let's run on board with Curving Texas, as he might be able to give us a little insight here to how the track is currently, as they are in qualifying mode. That didn't make any sense, I should say. See what the track grip is like here in qualifying. Curving Texas heading into turn 3. Didn't really hit that apex as I think he would have liked to. Heading through turn 4 now. Up to turn 5. Flat out corner in a modern day Formula 1 car. Through this little chicane, very narrow section. Into turn 6. He now uses all the curb on entry and exit. Through the long turn 8 now. Under the Aramco board. Up into this heavy braking zone. One of the key spots as well to overtaking if you want to send it down the inside. It's very hard to do so, but it's very easy to do if you make a mistake heading through that first sector, as he's now currently into the second sector, heading through the fastest part of the racetrack. There's a little left-right chicane here. So fast in a modern day Formula 1 car. Now heading up into one of the bigger braking zones. Into the final sector, Curving Texas now goes. No purple sectors as of yet for the Ferrari driver. He's now through this third last corner into the penultimate. He now heads Turns it a little bit early, overcooks that corner ever so slightly, but he now heads or rounds through the final corner. What time can Curving Texas do as he comes up to the line to set his first time lap here this afternoon? He goes into position 12 on a 1 minute 20.795. So we'll swap this over as well to gap so you guys can see what the gaps are to the leader. So as you can see at the moment, less than a tenth separating the top four, which is really close. Which hopefully does mean that we'll have some really good racing here this afternoon. Isaac Kush currently sitting in P13, then Sir LJB in P14 for Alfa Romeo. Let us know some predictions in the live chat. I will have that up on my phone so I can read your comments and try and read them out as much as I can. Try and find someone on a lap for you. It looks like here, CPL Macashu is about to start a lap. Let's try to ball with the Alpha Tower driver as he heads up into the first corner. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, so hopefully they get out of the way. He uses all the racetrack available to him. Very nice job there from the Alpha Tower driver. Might get a little tow here from Isaac Kush. No, he doesn't. From his teammate is GeForce Aaron into provisional pole position now on a 119.379, so he's gone pretty fair bit quicker than Crossy F1's time. Let's see what Macashu can do here. He didn't really get turn 3, ideally right. Used a lot of curb on the entry there. Sorry, on the apex. Relatively tidy lap here for Macashu. This is his second run if I am correct. If I'm correct as well, I believe it is a soft medium strategy here this afternoon at the Australian Grand Prix. So we'll see how that goes with the one-stop strat. We might see some drivers try and pull out the medium tyre start if you're out of the top 10. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Macashu heading through the final sector now. He's unfortunately invalidated as well, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen where the track map is. So unfortunately for him, that's not ideal. He just wasted a set of soft compound tyres. So I'll bring this back up to the top for you guys. GeForce Aaron currently sits on provisional pole position on a 19.379. He's currently got a 0.16 gap at the moment to GeForce Crossy in P2, who looks like he's starting a lap now as well. We'll come back to him. Pure Gold for Renault currently sitting in P3. As you can see, he's out, or coming out of the pits there, just in front, or just behind, I should say, GeForce Crichton, I believe that was, in the other Mercedes. Pure Gold eggs in the pits. GeForce Ford in P4 for McLaren. Then it's Spilly. GeForce Todd in P7 as GeForce Giannis now up into position 2. 1/10 of a second off Aaron's time. So we'll go back to this order. Spilly in P6 at the moment for Williams. Then it's GeForce Todd, AU Wingman, Swaggy, Eternal Schnoz rounds out your top 10. Then it's Gaming Burger in P11. Let's ride on board with Gaming Burger here, the Red Bull driver. He's very good at one lap pace from what I've seen him do. So let's see what he's able to do now as he heads up to turn 3. Very deep on a brake, slight lock up. Gets the apex though, a bit nicer than what some other drivers have done so from what we've seen. Gaming Burger now heading up through turn 5 flat out. Be interesting to see as well what the weather's doing. Doesn't look too flashy at the moment in the qualifying session. That could be completely different as well for the race. But heading up to this right-hander now, braking just between the 100 and the 150 meter board, I believe. Sorry, the 100 and the 50 meter board. Sorry, I'm a bit off. I do apologise, but Gaming Burger heading up into the chicane section now. I believe he did have a purple second sector. That could be key. As now Crossy's gone to pole position on 19.232. He's jumped ahead of GeForce Aaron. So let's see what Gaming Burger can do here. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him of Wogboy. He does get out of the way. So let's see what Gaming Burger can do. He's heading through the penultimate corner now. Goes the Red Bull driver. Up to the line. He now heads. What can Gaming Burger do? He is going to go into position 4 now on a 1 minute 19 point... Are we out of tell you? 1 minute 19.545, sorry. So currently it is a GeForce top 4 at the moment. Very interesting. GeForce Crossy currently sitting on pole position. He looked like he stepped up his game a fair bit, Crossy. I don't believe he actually scored a single podium last season. A single win last season, I should say. He definitely scored a podium a few times from memory, but he hasn't actually qualified on pole or managed to get a win yet in the PS4 Pacific Series. So let's see if he's able to convert that here today. Obviously, he's got about a 10th in hand at the moment. Is now Swaggy completely takes that off him. He goes to a 19 flat. Goes GeForce Swaggy. Very nice lap there from the McLaren driver. He's going to have to try and push back to get to the pits here to maybe go again, but it's currently now at GeForce top 5, so let's see what GeForce are able to do. But they've taken over the PS4 Pacific community, but Swaggy currently on pole, 0.2 of a second ahead of Crossy. That is Aaron TP, aka Gunners, as now GeForce Crichton into position 2 on 1 minute 19.125. That's his first time lap of the session as well. So he's only going to be doing 2 runs here by the looks of it. Is GeForce Crichton. There's GeForce Giannis pulling off to the right there. He's currently sitting in P6 is Giannis. Gaming Burger in P7 at the moment. He's on an outlap currently, I believe. Or he actually might be out of fuel. I'm not too sure. Either one. He's doing a very slow lap at the moment, trying to conserve those tyres. No, he is about to start a lap. No, he's not. He's coming into the pits too. Put on a new set of tyres for his final run. Pure Gold, I believe, is on an in-lap as well. GeForce Ford's currently in the pits. Billy in P10 at the moment. He's coming across the line. Let's see what Spilly's going to do. He improves on his time and he goes into P6 at 1 minute 19.409 for the Williams driver. 0.4 of a second, actually 0.5 of a second separating our top 7 at the moment. Gaming Burger just outside that 5/10 range. It's going to be very, very close here this afternoon between all our drivers. I'll bring up the chat now to see if anyone's put in some predictions. Yeah, that's his first lap. It is 2 side bods, so yeah, he's only done 1 lap. So he hopefully should be able to get back around to set another lap time. We'll quickly run through your order real quick as we're waiting for the drivers now to exit the pits for their final run. Is currently the McLaren driver of GeForce Swaggy, who sits on provisional pole on a 1 minute 19.079. All these drivers opting for the soft compound of tyre. GeForce Crichton currently sitting in P2 for the Mercedes team on a 19.125. Then it's Crossy Aaron in position 4, who looks like he's actually on a lap. So we'll come back to him very shortly. GeForce TP, aka Gunners, is currently in P5. P6 is the Williams driver of Spilly. He's currently stopping it from being a GeForce 1.7 at the moment. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is Spilly. So let's see if he's able to do anything here about these GeForce drivers. GeForce Giannis currently in P7. That is Gaming Burger, Pure Gold, Ford, AU Wingman, Todd down in position 12. Eternal Schnoz currently sitting in P13. P14, CPL Macastu, who I believe is actually finishing a lap. So let's ride on board with the AlphaTauri driver. He slots into P3. Nice lap there from CPL Macastu in that AlphaTauri car. He does have the fastest final sector as well, so that is some promising pace for him there. Let's see what the other drivers are able to do. He was currently sitting, well, he was sitting down in P13, I believe. I believe Plevs just finished a lap as well. He only managed P15, but he's 0.9 of a second off the pace at the moment. So he's got a little bit of time. He's got to try and find, I believe another driver has just finished a lap. It was GeForce Giannis. He jumped up into the top 5 now on a 19.306. So let's try and find someone else that is on a lap. They will be coming out very shortly, if I'm correct, all the drivers. Plevs, I believe his session is done. He's only going to be able to settle for P15 or potentially drop down if Curving Texas, James H 1999, Sal JB, Isaac Kush and XX Wogboy do improve their times. But just going to talk a little bit about here the teams. Obviously, the 2 Mercedes of GeForce Crichton and Plevs, I believe they were teammates last season. Actually, no, they weren't. I've completely got that wrong. I've mixed that up with Elite Series. I do apologize for that. It was Plevs and Curving Texas that were teammates. So those two have parted ways from the Renault team because they were both in the Renault. So Curving Texas obviously going to the Scuderia team, the Scarlet Red team, Ferrari, obviously in the real life F1. They're not doing too well at the moment, but he's currently sitting down in P16 at the moment. Is Curving on a 1 minute 20.114. He's about 0.8 of a second off his teammate GeForce Giannis, who's currently sitting in position 5. So let's see if he's able to improve on that time. We'll go down to the Red Bull. Obviously, GeForce Aaron and Gaming Burger, very strong duo there for that Red Bull team. As you can see, the drivers are now exiting their pits. They'll be doing their final run very, very shortly. Let me know some predictions in the live chat, and I'll read them out on stream. Give me your pole position, man, and who you reckon is going to get the top 3 here this afternoon for the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 Australian Grand Prix, the opening round of the Season 3 Championship here at Race Spec. Curving Texas on an outlap there. James H looks like he's actually on a lap. So let's run on board with the harsh drive. There's a bit of traffic in front of him. Hopefully Crossy gets out of the way. Oh no, I think that might have distracted James H a little bit to Crossy. He got out of the way very, very late. So I wouldn't be surprised if Crossy potentially picks up a penalty here. But anyway, that will be some post-race stuff for the stewards to look at. But he now comes up to the line. Goes a harsh driver. Can he improve on his time? He still does improve. 0.2 of a second. Sorry, 2.5 of a second. He goes into P15, pushing Plebs down a spot. Who was that just improved on their time? I don't even... Oh, Eternal Schnoz, actually. It was Eternal Schnoz. The Renault driver now jumping up into the top 6. A lot of drivers will be on a time lap at the moment. As you can see, Wogboy down at P20 as well. He still failed to set a lap. He is very quick as well. I believe this is his first season here in the PS4 Pacific Series. So CPL Makashu is now retired from the session. He's going to have to settle for P3 or potentially worse. Eternal Schnoz, unfortunately, is not up on his time. I think he's trying to do 2 laps here. Plebs is retired, so he's going to have to settle for P16. So is Giannis. So he's not going to be able to improve. And it looks like Crossy's actually backed out of his lap. So unfortunately for Crossy, his session is done. Is Zach Crichton or Swagger on a lap? They are both on a lap. But let's run on board with Zach Crichton because he is obviously the defending Tier 1 champion. As he now heads down the straight, heading into this heavy braking zone. Crossy getting out of the way. They're using all the curb available to him. Little bit of oversteer there. As you can see, Wingman's in the wall there for Williams. So little repair job there they've got to do before the race. Williams heading into this fast left-right chicane now. There's a lot of curb on the apex. Very lucky to not actually corner cut or track extend there. But let's see what these two can do. It looks like these two are the ones that are going to be in contention for pole position, as Wogboy's now jumped up in a P8. Very good time there for himself, considering he's only done 1 lap. There's a bit of traffic in front of Zach. It's James H. Hopefully he doesn't get balked. James H pulls into the pits there. Now heading to the final corner as 40 has gone to pole position, a couple hundredths of a second ahead of his teammate. But can Zach take that off him? Yes, he can. Into the 1 minute 18.9s goes the Mercedes driver. It was looking like a McLaren 1-2, but it doesn't look like it now. What can Swaggy do as he comes up to the line? He takes pole position off Zach Crichton. He now does a 1 minute 18.886 rapid times here from all the drivers. It's GeForce Swaggy who takes pole position here for the Australian Grand Prix. GeForce Crichton in position 2 for the Mercedes. He splits both the McLarens. We've had a really good, or really solid, I should say, qualifying session here this afternoon. CPL Makashu will be in position 4 for the AlphaTauri team. Then it will be Crossy, Giannis, Pure Gold, just in front of his teammate Eternal Schnoz in P8. P9 is Gaming Burgers. Aaron's now jumped up into P7 for Red Bull on a 19.3, so about 5/10 off the pace there. Aaron, he won't be too happy with that. He'll be expecting, or he would have been expecting, to be up the front a little bit more, but it's very competitive, this league. The slightest little mistake can cost you so much. The Pure Gold and P8, P9 Eternal Schnoz, and then rounding out your top 10 is Gaming Burger. XX Wogboy will be the first of the drivers by the looks of it, who will have a free tyre choice for this session. Sorry, or for the race. So could we see Wogboy and even Toddy and TP go for the medium or the alternate strategy, starting on that medium compounded tyre and then going to the softs? We'll have to see how that pans out. Spilly rounds out your top 15. So top 14 rather. Then it's MP15 AU Wingman 7/10 of a second off the pace. Isaac Cushing P16, P17 James H Plebs down at P18, P19 Curving Texas, and rounding out your top 20 was Sir LJB 1.6 seconds off the pace. And as you can see, 1 second separates the top 17. That is mega close between all the drivers. We'll be back with you shortly for the Australian Grand Prix, or the start of the Australian Grand Prix. Let me know some predictions in the live chat, and stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand, call
As you guys can see on your screens now, the drivers have now officially started the formation lap here for the opening round of the Race Spec Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1. Oh, okay, I think we're having... Unless that's just disqualified from the formation lap, which I do hope it is. We've had a few issues here. I think it is because you can see their dots on the screen. Sorry, I do apologise for that. But if you guys are unaware of what happened in the qualifying session before, G-Force Swaggy took out pole position just in front of G-Force Crichton. There was less than half a tenth separating those two. Obviously, G-Force Crichton separates both the McLarens of G-Force Swaggy and Ford, who will start in position 3. So very strong showing here. The opening round of the season from McLaren. CPL Macastu, one of the new drivers here this afternoon. Or here this season in P4 for Altari, and then rounding out top 5 G-Force Crossy. As you can see on the bottom of your screens, there was a little bit of a insight there to what the strategy was. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. I wish I saw it, to be honest, but we'll have to see how this all pans out. Let me know some predictions in the live chat for who you think is going to win the opening round here of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 League Australian Grand Prix. It's going to be a mega race to watch, so stay tuned, get your popcorn ready. All the drivers now getting backed up by Swaggy. He's trying to get as much heat into those tyres as possible. As you can see, spinning up those rears, trying to get the optimal temperature into those tyres. Waiting for the drivers now to form up on the grid. About a 506 metre run into turn 1 from the start line. Ryan starts giving us our first prediction here. He reckons Zach or G-Force Crichton will take the win ahead of Swaggy and Giannis. So let's see how this goes. As you can see, the light sequence has now begun for the opening round of the season, and we are underway. Looks like Swaggy's got a really, really good start there off the line, and G-Force Crichton hasn't had the best. Heading into the first turn now, as you can see, Swaggy leads them through. Ignore the timing board on the left because that's completely wrong. But it looks like G-Force Crichton hasn't had the best of starts. He's now got 40 right behind him. 40 hasn't had a good start either. He's dropped... Actually, this timing board's actually frustrating me. Sorry. As you can see, we've got a predicted pit stop strategy at the bottom there. If you want to have a little insight, I do apologise. This has confused me massively, but I believe it is Swaggy that currently leads the way. Heading onto the first lap of the race. G-Force Crichton's currently sitting in second position ahead of G-Force Ford. I'm just going to keep it as that because I know who those three are. The timing ladder isn't really doing me any good here. Now it's updated. Thank you. So CPL Max is currently sitting in P4. Both the Renaults going 3 wide heading into that corner. Very close between the two. Works Renault's cars, and look at that in the wall. Goes Crossy. He definitely hit that wall hard there. That's going to potentially be some front wing damage for the Racing Point driver as he heads through the S section now on the opening lap. Very close between all these drivers. You can see G-Force Aaron's up 2 spots, and then around the outside actually goes G-Force Ford, and now it is the McLaren 1-2 here on the opening lap of the PS4 Pacific Series Australian Grand Prix. What a start there from both the McLarens. They now will take the first lap of the Grand Prix, P1 and P2. For McLaren, G-Force Crichton in P3 at the moment ahead of CPL Macastu, who's just behind 7/10 of a second behind that Works Mercedes driver. Then it's G-Force Aaron, G-Force Giannis, then Crossy in P7, who's now actually having a look at Giannis as they head through the first turn. What can he do? There's yellow flags in the background. What's going to happen here? Is he going to make a move? He goes to the outside, goes Crossy. Can he do anything? And now down the inside. Contact between the two teammates. Oh, Pure Gold and Eternal Schnoz. I believe that was Pure Gold that absolutely centered down the inside at turn 3. And now, unfortunately for Eternal Schnoz, he has now got a 3-second penalty. And the Renaults have collided, heading into the second sector, And that is not what Cyril wants to see. Heading into the first round of the Grand Prix, both Renaults collide. It is not the start that they wanted. Pure Gold coming off worse, obviously. But GeForce actually, something's happened to Swaggy here. I do apologise. Swaggy's dropped down to position 4. He's lost the spot to GeForce Crichton and Macastew. There could have potentially been contact there between Crichton and Swaggy. So let's see what happens. Will Swaggy send it down the inside here on Macastew? He thinks better of it. He's going to sit behind that AlphaTauri driver for a little bit longer. But 40 or forward has now put a 1.03 second gap over Zach Crichton. So can Zach get within that DRS range to make sure he secures that DRS? GeForce Aaron up into P5. He's at a really good start as well. Has that Red Bull driver. GeForce Giannis has held position off the start. GeForce Crossy in P7. He's lost 2 spots. He hasn't had the an ideal start, I should say. Has the Racing Point driver. GeForce TP in position 8 at the moment. He's up 5 spots. He's definitely one of the best or the hard charges at the moment off the start of the race. You can see he's actually having to defend here from Eternal Schnoz. We're going to go back up to the lead here because Aaron and Swaggy have now swapped positions up into position 4. Goes the Red Bull driver. He has now swapped positions with Swaggy. Swaggy can just not get that car to turn on for him. He's dropping down in dropping down positions left, right, and centre. He's now going to have his Ferrari GeForce fellow teammate, I guess you could call it, coming up on the rear of him. Then it will be the other GeForce teammate of Crossy coming up. So he's had a very poor start here. Has Swaggy. The 40 now just out inside of a second is Crichton to GeForce 40. Macastew in position 3 at the moment. In that AlphaTauri car, he's doing a really, really good job. GeForce Aaron in P4. Will he be able to hunt down Macastew here? Swaggy in P5, P6 Giannis. Then it is a Crossy in P7. P8 is TP, who's getting a lot of pressure here from Eternal Schnoz, who's trying to go around the outside. Can he get the switch back done? The Renault driver struggles on traction there, as you saw. Can GeForce Todd do anything about this? He is within DRS range. We're going to go back up to our leaders as these guys are the closest on track at the moment. A lot of them do have DRS except for CPL Macastew. So he is not going to be a sitting duck heading down the straights. Well, these first 2 straights here, there are 2 DRS zones at the Albert Park Street Circuit. 1 on the start finish straight and 1 heading down into turn 3. Curving Texas, I believe, is now our second time penalty, or the second driver to get a time penalty here this afternoon. He's currently down in P11. He's actually up 8 spots. He's a Ferrari driver, so he's done a really, really good job off the start of the race here. Macastew holding on to P3 at the moment. You see a little bit of a train starting to form. We'll go back to the rear. You can see Pure Gold 34 seconds off Sir LJB, who is still on the rear of James H, and it's Gaming Burger in front of James H in P17. Spilly, AU Wingman, both Williams have had a very poor start. Spilly down 2 spots, and unfortunately for AU Wingman, he's not really making any places at the moment. Isaac Cushion P14 at the moment. He's currently up 2 spots in that AlphaTauri car. Then it's Wogboy in position 13. Plebs up 6 spots, sorry. MP12, Curving Texas, as we spoke about before, up 8 spots from the rear of, sorry, not from the rear of the grid. He's up 8 spots into P11. GeForce Todd in P10. He's taking home, or he will be taking home the one and one only point here this afternoon if you can hold on to that position 10. Wogboy 3 second penalty down in position 13. But let's go back up to our leaders. You see they're all actually starting to converge here. Aaron's going to be trying to set up a move here on Macastew. Let's ride on board with him as he heads through turn 2, up into turn 3. They're about to head. Giannis, unfortunately, just picked himself up a time penalty in that Ferrari car, so that's not ideal. Very deep under brakes. There was Swaggy. I thought he was going to hit Aaron there, heading into the turn 3 braking zone, but he managed to pull it up nicely. As Aaron just picks up a 3 second penalty. So penalties are going to be a massive talking point here this afternoon as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if the race does come down to that, but as you can see, the front 2 are just pulling away at the moment. 2.1 seconds separating the front 2 from the rest of the field. CPL Macastew and P3 at the moment coming under a lot of pressure from GeForce Aaron, GeForce Swaggy, GeForce Giannis, GeForce Crossy, and GeForce TP. He's trying to catch up at the moment. He's starting to pull a gap now, is TP from Eternal Schnoz. Those 2 were battling really hard in the opening laps of the race. Todd's trying to keep up with Eternal Schnoz in that Renault car, but he's struggling a little bit at the moment. Curving Texas in P11 is speaking about Eternal Schnoz. He's just picked himself up a 3 second time penalty now. Go back up to our leaders here. GeForce Crichton a lot closer than what he was last lap, and unfortunately for Pure Gold, GeForce Crichton into the pit lane. That's very unexpected, and look, a few more drivers following him. Following him in. GeForce Swaggy's going to follow him in here, so very, very interesting strategy here. They're trying to get off that soft compounded tyres. AU Wingman 3 second penalty, but Those two are the only ones that are opting to come into the pit. So that's a very interesting strat here from the Mercedes, McLaren and the Williams teams, as AU Wingman does come into the pit lane as well. They do, or he does follow Crichton and Swaggy. Side pod rooting for the both of the McLarens. Unfortunately, Swaggy just made a pit stop. Sorry, I was just about to say, unfortunately, he hasn't had the best starts, but he's just made a pit stop. I completely forgot. I'm very off at the moment with commentating. I do apologise, but 40's got a 2.8 second lead now over CPL Makastu, who is in a very intense battle at the moment with GeForce, Aaron, Giannis, and Crossy. TP still trying to pull away from Eternal Shots, but he's really getting towed along here as Eternal Shots with that DRS and Slipstream. Todd's also trying to keep into that train. He's just within the DRS range, but I think we're going to see a move here from Eternal Schnoz to the outside. Very late move from the Renault driver. They make contact. That is Eternal Schnoz and TP. That could be potential front wing damage to the Renault car. He did hit him pretty hard, so let's see what happens. TP did keep his line, so he wasn't in the wrong there. Any other drivers come into the pit lane list up? No, they don't. Actually, no. GeForce Crossing and Ford do. So, interesting strategy. And I think 40's going to get held. He does by the racing point. So, that's going to be very, very costly for 40. Oh, there's a little bit of lag there, I think, actually. So, let's see what happens. On our screen, he got held, but can GeForce Crichton jump ahead of the McLaren? Let's ride on board with the Mercedes driver as he heads down the front straight away. He's not going to be able to get the job done, but he is obviously going to be on that warmer set of tyres compared to his McLaren rival, who provisionally leads the way at the moment. As you can see, 40's actually put a gap here, 1.2 second gap, when they were roughly around 0.2 of a second separating each other before they came to the pits. So yeah, CPL Makastu now does lead the way for the Australian Grand Prix. GeForce Aaron and Giannis still putting immense pressure on that AlphaTauri driver. Yellow flags in Sector 2. That's an Alfa Romeo. That's Sir LJB, who unfortunately has had an incident heading through the middle sector. Does he have any damage? He does have damage on that left end plate on that Alfa Romeo car. So he will be most likely... Oh, he's just been put on the wall as well by Swaggy, I believe, as GeForce Crichton picks up a 3-second penalty. So not the ideal start there for Sir LJB. He has now got front wing damage to that car, so I believe he will have to come into the pit lane this lap. I will swap this over to pits so you guys can see who has made a pit stop. He has not made a pit stop yet, so this won't hurt him as much as it would have if he had already made a pit stop. But this isn't good for Crossy because he's really getting held up here. He's the Racing Point driver, but fortunately for him, the Alfa Romeo does pull into the pit lane. Oh, look at this battle here between Aaron, Makastu and Giannis. Aaron up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Red Bull takes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. CPL Makastu currently sitting in P2. He's lost the lead, and now Giannis is right on the rear of that AlphaTauri car. What can he do? Will we see a dive bomb potentially from this Ferrari driver, or the Ferrari driver, sorry? Oh, I do apologise for that, Shaw, so I will fix that up for you in a minute. But we're just going to keep on board with this battle with Giannis. Giannis thought about making a move there. He's right on the rear. There you go. That should be better there for you, Strauss. I do apologise for that. You see there, we're all... It's a one-line or one-way line heading through this final sector. Not many overtaking opportunities, but this could be Giannis's opportunity here. Unfortunately, Makastu does have DRS as well, as you can see. On the right-hand side, the pit window is now open. Oh, Aaron makes a mistake there, heading to the first turn. Could Makastu take the lead of the Grand Prix back? He's going to have a really good run. Aaron defends the inside line. He goes to the outside. This is the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. Around the outside goes CPL Makastu. What a move there from the AlphaTauri driver. Gives him a little love tap there. He squeezes him off the track. Does Makastu. He did have the racing line, so he is entitled to do that. Up into the lead goes Stewart, but can Aaron do anything about it? Heading through this next sector, Makastu touches the grass briefly there, but he gets away with it. He's now back up into the lead of the Grand Prix. This isn't what they need to be doing, because this is only going to give GeForce Crichton and GeForce Ford a little bit of an advantage when it comes, or when these guys pit, because they're going to have a bigger gap. So Let's see what happens. Unfortunately, Giannis wasn't able to take much advantage of those two battling. I'm not too sure why. He does have DRS this time, though, does Giannis. This is the main battle on the racetrack as well. GeForce Todd is still on the rear of Eternal Schnoz. I don't know what's happened to TP. He's dropped way down. He's dropped behind both Todd and Schnoz. So, may have been potential contact between the Renault and the Haas driver. Let's go back onto the battle for the lead. Very late move into the pit lane for Giannis. Aaron stays out of Makastu. Goes in as well. So Giannis following him in. Eternal Schnoz into the pit lane as well. Toddy and Aaron do stay out. So does Plebs. So Plebs now into P3. Aaron holds on to the lead ahead of GeForce Todd. So let's see where GeForce Crine and all these guys come out. We're going to ride on board with him. You see he's going to come out fair way ahead of Makastu here. Obviously, those guys were battling very heavily. As you can see the amount of time they lost. I reckon over 10 seconds here. They've nearly lost. It'd be getting close to that, to be honest. About 8 seconds at the moment, I believe, from 40 and Zach. So they lost a lot. They lost about 5-6 seconds battling there. So that's not ideally what they would have wanted. But Zach really trying to keep with 40 here. Or GeForce Ford, I should say. He is unfortunately just outside of a second, but Ford's getting really held up here by GeForce TP. Let's see what happens here. Obviously, these two do have GeForce in the name, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do swap positions. They do. There you go. So GeForce Ford is now allowed through by TP. Doesn't really want to put up a fight. And look, there goes Crichton as well. He doesn't want to get into that battle. There's no need. It's just going to lose all of them time. So probably smarter thinking either way there from TP. He's now currently sitting in P11. As you can see now, Aaron, Plebs are both into the pit lane. Todd stays out for an even longer stint here. So he's going to have really, really fresh tyres towards the end of this Grand Prix. Will Todd, but will he be able to maximise those tyres? I think he'll be hoping for a potential safety car. If a safety car comes out right now, that'd be ideal. Well, the at most ideal for the Racing Point driver who gains so much time. Yeah, these are really close tiers, Josh Porter. Obviously, I believe all the Pacific tiers are all streamed as well, all 5 tiers. So, massive thank you to all our commentators for doing that as well. But yeah, it was really hard to figure out where everyone would be in the tiers, to be honest, because everyone was just so close in pace. So yeah, hopefully it all brings really good racing here this season. Make every championship hard. Make it hard fought. GeForce Todd, still leads away. He's got a 3.6 second lead. Provisionally though, GeForce Ford leads away. He's currently sitting in P7, but there's a little bit of a train starting to form here between Curving Texas, XX, Wogboy, and Spilly. So do any of these drivers opt to come into the pit? No, they don't. Actually, these guys didn't start on the soft compound tyre. I do apologise. And Toddy didn't either, so that's why Toddy's staying out a little bit longer. So he's going to be actually pretty quick coming towards the end of this race. I'm actually surprised now. I didn't realise that Toddy was on that medium compound tyre. So Toddy's was actually doing really good there, considering he was on that medium. To keep up with the likes of, who was it, Eternal Schnoz, and then also TP, who were both on the soft compound tyre. So let's see what Toddy's pace is later on when he comes into the pits to put on that soft compound tyre. He'll be hoping for a safety car later on in the race. Let's see what Isaac Kush can do as well. Is he able to reel in that Racing Point driver of Todd? He's currently up 11 spots. Is Todd and Isaac Kush up 14. Curving Texas up 16. Obviously, these guys have not made a pit stop. Wogboy and Spilly rounds a top 5. I believe James H has also not made a pit stop as of yet. So 40 is actually going to start to catch up to this little train of back markers here. But 40 and Crichton still battling it out. They're doing absolutely the fastest times they possibly can do. Crichton, another 3-second time penalty. So hopefully when we do get a safety car, eventually if we do get one, I'll be able to give you guys a little insight to what everyone's time penalties are looking like. We're currently on lap 12 of 29, so there is still a long way to go in this race. As you can see, Makastu, sorry, worst time to cough. Makastu and Swaggy made contact. They're heading into the final sector. unfortunately, Makashu did have that line, so Swaggy did get pushed out off onto the grass there, so I don't believe Swaggy was really up far enough to really hold it around the outside, to be honest, so not sure. It's probably a bit 50-50, but I think the stewards will let that one go, but unfortunately for Swaggy, making that little error on his end is cost him a lot of time. He does have a little bit of damage, or a little bit of scrapes on the side of his side pod there as well, so James H now comes into the pits as well. He's dropped down to P16. So unfortunately for Swag, he's got to work himself all the way back up about 4 positions to get back up to CBL Makastu. You see Crossy's pulling away now. So Crossy's done a pretty good job here, actually. I think he's got ahead of all these drivers. I'm not too sure how he's done it. He's either overtaken them or undercut them. I'm very unaware of everything right now. A safety car would make this race even more exciting. Yes, it would. With 100% it would. With all these drivers been so close in pace and everything, especially as well, I think that would be really good for the soft tyre runners who would bunch them all up and allow them to get back through the field nice and quickly. Makashu trying to pull out a gap at the moment over Giannis in that Ferrari. He's holding tight with him though, so is Aaron and Swaggy. G4 Swaggy's just picked himself up a 3-second penalty as well, so he's a little bit frustrated under that helmet. Is the McLaren driver. Obviously both McLarens are qualifying in the top 3, and unfortunately it's not looking too good for them at the moment. Only one McLaren's had a really ideal start to this race. I'm going to quickly run you through your order here as we are on lap 14 of 29. We'll count this as halfway through the race. Next lap will definitely be over halfway. But G-Force Todd currently leads the way at the moment. Obviously, has still not made a pit stop. Isaac Cush in P2, P3, XX Wogboy, and Spilly in P4. The top 4 all in the same boat as Toddy. They have all not made a pit stop as of yet, as they did start on the medium or hard compound of tyre. So G-Force Ford is provisionally in the lead of the Grand Prix. He's currently on the hard compound tyre. G-Force Crine in P6 at the moment. He has made a pit stop, so it's just the top 4 that have not made a pit stop, just to clarify. G-Force Crine in P6. P7 is G-Force Crossy, CPL Makastu, Giannis in P9. And then rounding out your top 10 at the moment is G-Force Aaron. Then it's G-Force Swag in P11. Eternal Schnoz in P12. Plebs Gaming Burger. Curving Texas down in position 15. P16 James H 1999 AU Wingman. G-Force TP down at P18. Not too sure what's happened to TP. Has he made another pit stop maybe? No, he hasn't. So I'm not too sure what's happened to TP. But unfortunately the race just hasn't gone to plan for the harsh driver. Not that the race normally goes to plan for any harsh drivers in real life or games. It's LJB in P19 and then Pure Gold in position 20, who unfortunately spun in the opening laps of the Grand Prix. So he's trying to catch back up now to Sir LJB. We'll go back to your front runners. As look, Giannis has, I believe, now just made a move around the outside. He's trying to hold it here. This is the battle between Giannis and Makastu. He holds it around the outside there. Does Makastu, and he's holding on to position 8. This will be good news for Crossy because he'll be able to pull away. He's in provisional P3 at the moment, so if these guys keep battling, this will be really, really good for him. Yes, 40 is doing a really good job at the moment. He's holding that gap of around 1.1, 1.2 seconds at the moment over G-Force Crine in that Mercedes. Zach's actually catching up a little bit though, so let's see what happens. This is the main battle on racetrack at the moment. Oh, he thought about making a move there, did G-Force Giannis. Wasn't able to do it though, wasn't able to pull it up, rather. Oh, there's a move there between Swaggy and Aaron. Sorry, I missed that. But Swaggy and Aaron, the two G-Force drivers, did make contact. I did see that part. So I think Swaggy may have sent it down the inside, heading through the penultimate corner, and he's now got himself up into the top 10. But Giannis looks like, or he looked like it was very close to Makastu heading to the first turn, but unfortunately didn't get the exit I think he would have liked to. And I think Crossy's also made a mistake here because he's lost a lot of time to CPL Makastu. Because Makastu is now within a second, and I believe Crossy did have at least a 1.5 second gap over Makastu. So let's see what happens here. Crossy obviously will now be towing the group along, and with that move that Swaggy just did, that's allowed Giannis a little bit of breathing space behind, so he could be thinking about making a move now on CPL Makashu. He'll be trying to set up a nice run. You can see he's using that overtake button. Makashu saving as well. As you can see the amount of speed that Giannis is closing him in on. Bit of dirty air, not ideal for Giannis, but he will get DRS here. Will he be able to make a move? We'll go to TV cam. He's going to go to the outside line. He gets squeezed off onto the grass there to Giannis Makashu. Right on the edge of leaving racing room at the moment. There was a slight bit of room there for Giannis. There was enough room for him to go through, but it was the absolute minimal amount of room that Makashu had to leave. So, very intense racing here between these drivers. This is the battle for provisional P3 on track at the moment. Still waiting for those top four to come into the pits as Isaac Kush and Wogboy are now all swapping positions, and Spilly. These guys are all battling for position 2, 3, and 4. All these guys have still not made a pit stop, so I believe Wogboy is now up in a P2. Isaac Kush and Isaac Kush into the wall. What's happened there? Did him and Spilly make contact? I'm not too sure. Let's see what happens. I'm trying to get a better view to see Isaac Kush's front wing, but now 40's right on the rear. He cannot afford Isaac Kush to hold him up here, because it's only going to allow GeForce Crichton to catch up. His front wing does look fine on that AlphaTauri car by the looks of it, but yeah, not too sure what happened. As 40 now looks like he's going to go through. Isaac Kush is not going to put up too much of a battle as Swaggy picks up a 3-second penalty. We'll go back to this battle. Battle still raging on at the moment between Crossy, Makashu, Giannis, Swaggy and Aaron. Looks like Makashu has a good run here on the racing point. Will Crossy defend the inside line? He does, and Makashu to the outside. Who's going to get the move done? Crossy pushes him out wide. He is entitled to do so. Oh, they make more contact heading down the straight. This is given Giannis a really good run. They're going to go nearly 3 wide. Heading into turn 3. They're pretty much NASCAR styling this. 2 wide. And it looks like Crossy's going to hold on. Makashu trying to defend that position, and the Ferrari of Giannis tried to stick it down the inside there of Swaggy heading through turn 5, but wasn't able to do so. Aaron trying to stick his nose in there as well on Giannis. This battle's really starting to ramp up here. Aaron running wide. He's trying to set up a run on Giannis, potentially down the inside. Will Aaron go? No, he thinks better of it. He's going to sit behind. This is all allowed Eternal Schnotz to actually catch up now. Speaking of Eternal Schnotz, again, he's picked up a 3-second time penalty in that Renault car. I believe he has 9 seconds worth of penalties. Now does that Renault car, or that Renault driver rather. Aaron picked up another 3-second. So very shortly I will have a look. I'm just going to try and potentially wait for a safety car. But Crichton's actually lost a lot of time now to GeForce Ford. It's about 7/10 of a second now. Even a bit more potentially. Yeah, it is over more. It's nearly 2 seconds between Crichton and Ford. Isaac Kush not really getting out of the way of Crichton. He's not entitled to. He doesn't have to, but obviously they are both in completely different races at the moment. Isaac Kush still has not made a pit stop in this Grand Prix. Go back to this battle here. Is anyone going to be able to make a move? Doesn't look like it. They're all going to be line astern as they head into turn 3 for the 19th time in this Grand Prix. 10 laps remain in the Australian Grand Prix. If you guys want to update your little predictions in the chat, feel free to do so. Let me know the top 3 who you reckon This is the battle for P3 provisionally as well. So if I was Toddy, to be honest, I would probably be pitting for those soft compound tyres about this lap. But I think what he's trying to do is actually wait for a safety car, which will really help him. But also what's really going to help him is all these drivers battling and him being in free air. So he was roughly in this battle as well. So let's see what happens with Toddy. I reckon he's going to come out roughly close to these guys, to be honest. He might come out just behind GeForce Aaron, if I'm correct. Oh, he is in the pits now. Is Toddy. Well, GeForce Todd. So Wogboy follows him in. Does Spilly do the same? No, Spilly stays out. I believe Spilly actually was on that hard compound tyre, so he'll be out for a little bit longer, I believe. and Isaac Kush follows him, the two in front of him in as well. So let's see where Toddy comes out. Oh, he's going to come out a fair bit behind actually, but he is going to be obviously on that soft compound tyre. And with all these drivers battling, that's only going to help him catch up. So let's see what happens. Yeah, that's probably what they were doing, Ryan. But unfortunately, it's probably too late. If you want to get the maximum out of that soft compound tyre, you definitely needed to pit it that lap and no later. Going to make sure you do get the maximum out of that soft compound tyre. Make sure you can use the whole amount of grip that it has. Swaggy, a little bit of oversteer there. The car wasn't very settled on exit. He got a slight bit of oversteer, which cost him a little bit down that straight. A little bit of a lockup there as well from Giannis. Let's see where Toddy is relative. So, as you can see, Eternal Schnoz is heading under the Melbourne board there, as you can see, and Toddy is about to head under the Melbourne board. As you can see right there it is. So let's go back up to this battle here. GeForce Crossy's defending the inside line. A little bit of contact there. He did move to the right a bit there to Crossy and went back to the racing line, but I think they'll let that one go. CBL Macish another 3-second penalty as well, so I definitely need to have a look at these penalties because I believe this is all going to come down to who has the least amount of penalties here. But Crichton now ahead of Spilly as he's now jumped into the pits, has the Williams driver. So let's see, what can Macish do here? AlphaTauri down the inside, heading into the first turn. Crossy pushed out wide, so could this be an opportunity here for Swaggy as well? Heading into the third turn, Swaggy's got to run. Oh, he's made contact with Crossy, and he's hit him. Contact between the G-Force drivers. That is really not ideal. The G-Force drivers making contact. Swaggy too ambitious under brakes. And this has given Makishu a bit of comfort, a bit of breathing room here, which is not what they need to do. They need to be working together here to try and catch up to Makishu, if anything. No, I do believe Giannis actually does have a pen, but it's very confusing at the moment. As Eternal Schnoz picks up another pen, so that's up to 11 seconds, I believe, now for the Renault driver. This is only also helping Todd, so he's got about a 5-second gap as we're going to go back here. Swaggy and Giannis, I believe, swapped positions briefly, but unfortunately wasn't able to do it. Swaggy off into the dirt, and he picked himself up a 3-second penalty there, which is not ideal for him. I don't think he would have gained time, but unfortunately the game thinks otherwise. But 40 running away with this Grand Prix at the moment. He's got a 2.3 second lead over that Mercedes driver behind him of GeForce Crichton. CPL Macish still in this battle between Crossy, Swaggy, Giannis, Aaron and Eternal Schnoz. Obviously Toddy is catching up, but we might see a move here from Giannis down the inside on the McLaren, and he's now up into the top 5. Goes the the Ferrari driver. So let's see if Crossy's able to get that gap, or close that gap down. He also has now a bit of breathing room between himself and the Ferrari behind him of Giannis, as he picks himself up a 3-second penalty. I think this might actually be the time to quickly have a look at Race Director for you guys. So GeForce Ford is currently on 1 time penalty. GeForce Crichton is on 1, 2. So he's currently on 6 seconds of penalty. CPL Macish, this is where we need to be looking. 3, 6, 9, 12 seconds of penalty. So Macish, Crossy is on none. That is very crucial for Crossy. 3, 6, 9 seconds for Giannis. Swaggy, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 seconds for Swaggy. 3, 6, 9 for Aaron, and Eternal Schnoz, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 seconds of penalties. So Crossy is in the prime seat at the moment. If Crossy can hold on to this position, he'll be looking for a top 3 result easy. He just needs to make sure he keeps that car within the white painted lines. Any moves here from any of the drivers? Spilly just made a move on Gaming Burger as well. Up into the top 11 he now goes. He's got 3.7 seconds. He's got to try and make to catch up to Wogboy in front. Todd's got that gap down to 1.9 seconds now to Eternal Schnoz, so it'll only be a matter of time now before Todd catches up to this battle pack. I personally think he should have pitted a bit earlier, to be honest. He's not going to get the maximum out of that soft compound tyre, but I just want to quickly check because I've already forgot. How many penalties did Crichton have? Because this could be really good for Crossy. 3-6. He's on his last warning too, is Crichton. So if Crossy can stay within 6 seconds here, Crossy could be on for position 2 in this Grand Prix. We've jinxed him. Crossy, 3-second time penalty now for the Racing Point. So that's unfortunate. Obviously, it still could work in his hands as that is his only penalty. Is now Eternal Schnoz has made a move on Aaron. They're going side by side. Eternal Schnoz squeezes Aaron. Bit 50-50 there from each driver. Aaron was only half committed to the corner and Eternal Schnoz didn't leave him much room. So I think they'll let that one go, to be honest. Let them race on. But look at this now. Todd on the rear of Aaron. Let's see how fast this allows Todd to bunch up. What I kind of want right now is a VSC for about a lap so everyone can build up their ERS and catch back up to each other. But this is the battle at the moment for position 3 in this race between CPL Macastu, GeForce Crossy, GeForce Giannis, GeForce Swaggy, Eternal Schnoz, GeForce Aaron, GeForce Todd, and XX Wogboy all the way from P3 to P10 has a potential chance at getting position 3 here this afternoon. GeForce TP just picked himself up a 3-second time penalty down in P17. So Haas team are having a very unfortunate opening round here to the season. Be 4 laps remaining, sorry, when they cross the start-finish line. Pure Gold, as you can see, coming into the pits. I believe he'll be trying to go for fastest lap. Unfortunately, he won't be able to get a point for that fastest lap if he does so. But he will be able to take that off whoever has it. And I can confirm who has that. Actually, I think we might see a move potentially. No. Oh, here we go. Aaron and Todd. Todd now up into P8. So Aaron's dropping positions left, right, and center here. And currently the man with the fastest lap is Spilly. And Spilly is also starting to catch up to this battle pack. So if these guys do start battling, Spilly could be on for a top 10 result. So obviously I feel like this is heavily going to come down to who has the least amount of penalties, but obviously they will all want the bragging rights to win on track. So let's see what happens here. GeForce Ford 3.6 second lead over GeForce Crichton at the moment. GeForce Crichton coming up on some lap cars. I believe that is the Renault of Pure Gold who's just exited the pit lane. CBL Macastu currently sitting in P3 for AlphaTauri. But unfortunately Swaggy has the most penalties here, so he's 100% not going to hold on to that position. He's definitely going to fall to the rear of this train, if not further. Eternal Schnoz right on the rear of that McLaren driver. Imagine what it would have been like with the safety car. That would have been hectic. Would have been a lot of drivers really close to each other battling. The Crossy is within DRS. Let's have a look to see what Macca's ERS is like. He's only got around 10%. So does Crossy has about 20. Oh, that's gone! That's Eternal Schnoz around! What's happened there to the Renault driver? He has just reset the track though, so that's a penalty for him, but he's nearly turned into Spilly. He has. So that's an instant penalty there for Eternal Schnoz from the stewards. He did just reset the track. So unfortunately for Eternal Schnoz, he will be receiving a penalty now for resetting to track. Whether that was his fault or not, it is prohibited. Race Spec to use a reset the track function, as the ghosting system is very, very unreliable here. So unfortunately for him, or very, very unreliable I should say in the F1 game, so that's not ideal for Eternal Schnoz. He was looking on for a good result. He didn't have many penalties, I believe, so that's unfortunate for him. Not too sure. He was in a little battle with Todd and Aaron, so could have been potential contact there. Macastu under immense pressure at the moment from the GeForce train behind him. Curving Texas is unfortunately retired in the pit lane. Unfortunately, it hasn't been Ferrari's day. Or I should say, one side of the Ferrari garage has had a pretty good day so far, and one unfortunately just hasn't been theirs. You see, looking at the back here, at Crossy, as they now head through the final sector for the 26th time. Macastu's trying to pull out a gap. There is. I think Zach's actually slowing down a bit here. I'm not too sure. It's either he's slowing down or these guys are all catching up. But he needs to get a move on here to Zach, because he does have time penalties as well. So he needs to be pushing pretty hard. He's got 0 ERS. That's his problem. There's a lot of weaving all on the straight at the moment. Oh, CBR Makashu's gone. What's happened to him? Did he get tagged? I saw a lot of cars weaving everywhere, but Makashu out of the top 5, which makes it a G-Force 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At the moment, Todd and Swaggy battling it out here, P5 and P6. McLaren and Racing Point. And it looks like Todd's going to get that position. Todd's in a really good spot here. I do want to check Todd's penalties as well. He's currently on 1 penalty. That could be really good for Todd. He could be gaining some really, really valuable points here for the the pink Mercedes, I was about to say, but I won't say that. I'm not controversial. There's no politics allowed in this chat. The Racing Point team. Spilly is now... Oh, more contact between Spilly and Makashu. What is happening to Makashu's race? It's gone from really, really good to downhill in the matter of seconds. So unfortunately for Makashu, his race has gone from hero to zero. But obviously this battle is not over. All of these drivers will want bragging rights. Obviously, if I'm correct as well, Wogboy is actually an academy driver for G-Force. So technically it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for G-Force. He just doesn't have G-Force in his name. But Crossy heads on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. 40, I should say, heads onto the penultimate lap. 4.5 seconds he has now got of an advantage over G-Force Crine. Then it's 3.7 seconds between Crine and Crossy. Giannis right behind him. G-Force, Todd, Swaggy, Aaron, and Wogboy's unfortunately fallen off the train a little bit here. And so has Aaron. His race hasn't really gone to plan for himself. But Giannis, Crossy, and Swaggy are all battling it out here. So Giannis, Crossy, and Todd are all battling it out here. Unfortunately, Swaggy's going to drop down massively. Due to his 18 plus seconds of penalties. So, yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. TP does go faster, 21.455. Unfortunately, he's not going to get that extra point. But 40 is about to start the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. He's heading through the final sector. It's in a very, very well-managed race from 40. We're going to go back to this battle as this is the main battle on the racetrack at the moment. We will need to watch this battle as well between Spilly, Berger, Plebs, Isaac Kush for the battle on P9. And then everyone else is pretty spread out at the moment. There's a little battle here between TP and Sir LJB. And unfortunately, TP has turned Sir LJB. Not too sure what's happened there, unfortunately. Bit of misfortune for both drivers there, but 40 starts the final lap of the Grand Prix. So does Crichton. Crossy's got a 6/10 lead, but it looks like Todd's got a very good run here on Giannis. What can the Racing Point driver do? Will he send it down the inside? Yes, he does with that more grip, and he gets the move done up into the top 4, making it a Racing Point 3-4 at the moment. Really, really good job there from Toddy up into the top 4 for the Racing Point team. Giannis been pushed down to P5. As I have said multiple times, this will come down to time penalties without a doubt for position 3, maybe even position 2 if Zach doesn't get a move on with it. So I should say Crichton. G-Force Crichton doesn't get a move on with it. But yeah, it's been a very, very well managed race here from G-Force Ford. He's led from the get-go. I don't think he's even been overtaken, if I'm correct. He's qualified on pole position. I think it's either him or Swaggy. I can't even remember. Actually, no, he didn't qualify on pole. He started P3. I do apologise for that. I think it says 2 up there, but I'm not too sure. Either way, I'm very confused at the moment. 40 comes through the final corner. He is going to win the opening round of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 Australia Championship for Season 3. G-Force Crime will come home. Position 2, but what will time penalties do here between these drivers? Crossy will come home P3. Really good job there from Crossy. And it's going to be a Racing Point 3-4. Congratulations to Racing Point and 40 and Crichton. Congratulations to all of them. G-Force Giannis jumps up into P5. P6 will be Wogboy. P7 Spilly, Aaron and P8. P9 Gaming Burger. And rounding out your top 10 will be Plebs. P11 James H. And unfortunately for Swaggy, I believe he had more than 20 seconds worth of penalties in the end. So he's dropped down to P12. P13 will be Isaac Kush. AU Wingman and P14. P15 will be Eternal Schnoz. P16 unfortunately just hasn't gone his way in the end there for Makashu. And he does set the fastest lap in the end of the race there just to top it off. Into P16 he now goes. P17 G-Force TP. He will come across the line. But what a race in the end there. Much congratulations, I should say, go to GeForce Ford. TP's going to come across the line, P17, P18, Sir LJB, who actually jumps ahead of TP after time penalties. Then it will be pure gold, rounding out top 19. And unfortunately for Curving Texas in that Ferrari, he will be the one and only retirement. So congratulations to GeForce 40, or GeForce Ford. He takes the Australian Grand Prix here for the opening round of the Season 3 Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Championship. Congratulations to Plebs as well for Driver of the Day. I believe that means that he's gone up the most positions. Congratulations there, GNC40. Very happy with that win. Will give him a lot of confidence, and the McLaren team a lot of confidence heading into the season. And obviously, congratulations to the Mercedes driver of Zach Crun and the pink Mercedes driver of Crossy F1. We're going to move on now to your provisional results for the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 Australian Grand Prix. GeForce Ford takes the win in the end after starting P3. I'll just clarify that there for you. He takes the win ahead of GeForce Crun in P2. And then rounding out your podium will be GeForce Crossy in that Racing Point team. GeForce Todd in P4. Really good job for Racing Point. I believe they will be leading the Constructors' Championship heading into the next round, or round 2, which I do believe is at Bahrain. So stay tuned for that next week. GeForce Giannis in P5 for Ferrari, then XX Wogboy for Alfa Romeo Racing in P6, Spilly in P7, GeForce RMPA, P9, Gaming Berg, and then rounding out your top 10, starting from position 18 in the race was Plebs in that Mercedes car, so he'll take home a singular point. Congratulations to him, and a really good drive from him as well. James H in P11, P12, GeForce Swaggy unfortunately didn't go his way, nor did Isaac Kush. AU Wingman P15, P16 was CBL Makastu. He's in the same boat as Swag and Isaac Kush, just the end of the race didn't go to plan for those drivers. So JB P17, P18, GeForce TP, Pure Gold rounds out your finishing drivers in P19, and then Curving Texas rounds out your top 20. Unfortunately, the one and only driver who ended up retiring. We'll be back with you shortly for some post-race interviews with the top 3. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a minute.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Alright, so here we have our top 3 here from the opening round of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 Australian Grand Prix. Let's start off with you, the McLaren driver of 40. Massive congratulations to you, mate, making the opening round of the series. How was your race? Obviously led from the start and pretty well managed on your round, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much going on for myself. It was kind of just chucking into those consistent laps and maintaining that gap to Zach, who was battling a ARS problem, but he drove brilliantly for P3 and then P2, sorry, and then Seb coming home in P3 also did well. So I don't know, wasn't too excited on my end. I was pretty happy with quali overall, and yeah, hopefully it's some form we can take heading into Bahrain.
Yeah, well, we'll give you and the McLaren team a lot of confidence. Unfortunately, didn't go too well in the favour or the other side of the garage. Unfortunately, Swaggy picking up, I believe, 25 seconds plus of penalties in the end, finishing down in P12. So, yeah, unfortunate for him on the other side of the garage.
Yeah, F1 is a team sport, and obviously we need both drivers to be doing well. Hopefully, you can turn that around next week. Australia is one of those tracks where you do tend to get a lot of penalties if you're stuck behind other cars in dirty air, and I think that's, with me not being in dirty air, I was able to maintain my penalties quite well, and I only pick up the 3, so yeah, I think we'll do a bit of practice for next week, and hopefully we can, as a team, perform a bit better. Yeah,
congratulations, mate, on winning the opening round of the Australian Grand Prix. We'll move on to you now, Zach Crone. I've had a few messages or insights to you may have had a few technical difficulties with that Mercedes car, but we'll move on to that in a sec. But how was your race? Obviously qualified position 2, I believe, splitting both McLarens. So how was your race from the get-go?
Yeah, that was a great first race of the season, that's for sure. Especially that quali, holy dooly, that was close. Like, it's great to see that. But yeah, moving on to the race, it was, yeah, on my behalf, the stupid overtake button was stuck on. So nice one, Codemasters. So for me, I just had to try and, I don't know, just try and push the whole race and try and hang on to P2 there, try and not spin up the rears coming out the corners with that button stuck on. So that was one thing that I had to manage. But apart from that, yeah, I just had to be quite careful. I think the last 15 laps, I had to not get one warning, otherwise Seb had me. So that was my main goal on those last half of that race. But no, it was great. And yeah, and that was a G-Force top 6 there. So it was a great debut for us. So yeah.
Yeah, well, seems like you only have that problem. No one else does. So bit of a coincidence. Anyway, but obviously it was very close in qualifying between all of you. Crossy actually looked like he was going to be on pole there for quite some time, and I believe that would have been your first pole too, Crossy. So let's move on to you as well. Great race from you. Obviously battling really hard between yourself and obviously other G-Force members, and I believe it was also Mac at Stu.
Yeah, the race went along well. Obviously didn't get the best qualifying that I would have hoped for. Ended up starting down the pack and then didn't exactly get the start. Obviously not too good at my starts. I needed to sort of put some practice in, get those a bit better, and then dropped down. Ended up getting stuck in the big long train, which lost me probably a heap amount of time to the top 2. So I thought I needed to do a bit of an undercut, jump in and jump on the hards and go as long, because I knew that mediums in their stint would drop off at the very end of their race, so I was just waiting for that point before I could really push at the end of the race.
Yeah, okay, well obviously as well, your teammate GeForce Todd came up through the field really, really quickly on that soft compounder tyre, so some really good points there as well for Racing Points construction standings.
Yeah, Toddy definitely, over the last really day, he's put in a whole lot of effort and actually gained that heap amount of time, so this really shows how much he's improved over this past couple of days. So and really also good points for the team. And, yeah, it
also shows as well how much effort and how much time it takes to actually be quick in this league. It's just so close between all the drivers. But that's all I've got from me, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining as well for some post-race interviews. Congratulations to you 3. Well, we have here our top 3 from the opening round of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 League. My name is Expert. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you guys next week for the Bahrain Grand Prix, I believe it is. And hopefully Zach fixes his technical difficulties.
Yep, and the Bahrain track guide will be coming out tomorrow. So watch out for that on the Race Spec channel.
There you go. Insight from GeForce. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
So why is it so hard to let you go? To let you go. So why is it so hard to let you go? To let you go. So why is it so hard to let you go?